The next step in your resistance training program is working on your power. So what we do is we first clean the muscle up, then we go ahead and stretch the tissue, and then we go ahead and work on the stability in the motor control so you get the right alignment. Now your system is ready to try to develop some power. Power is one of those things that almost every athlete or every person can use more of. And a lot of people think about running and doing these other things or lifting weights. They don't necessarily develop your power. So what we do is we do a series of different exercises that are multi-joint, that are explosive in nature, and that we always do at the very beginning of our workout when we start doing some movement drills. The reason why is because your nervous system is nice and fresh, and in order for you to be fast and to be quick and to train those fast twitch fibers and your nervous system, you've got to do it when you're fresh. That's why we don't do these at the very end of your workout. Why do you want power? Because power is one of the components of being fit, of feeling better, and making your body feel young. I mean, when's the last time that you sprinted as fast as you could? Well, that was probably a long time ago, and we want you to tell your body to wake up and to get young, and that it's never too late for you to get better. How do we do that? We do this through a bunch of different exercises. We usually do a lower body power exercise, we do an upper body power exercise, and we usually do a full body or multi-joint power exercise. We use body weight, we use medicine balls, we use a bunch of different ways for you to develop this power. We want you to go ahead and practice these exercises. We're going to show you some examples of and how to develop power through some of these, what we also call plyometric drills or elastic drills. So here you go. Check them out and keep on practicing and use a lot of grit. Thank you. For all these power exercises, what we want is the proper positioning with all your body parts, your lower extremities, which include your foot, your ankle, your shin, your knee, hips, spine, and head. First, have your feet anywhere between 12 o'clock or 10 and 2. As you're doing this, don't let the knees cave in and the arches cave in while you're doing your jumping or squatting movements. Also make sure that the feet don't roll out. The weight on your foot should be evenly distributed through the ball, the outside of your foot, and through your heel. As you're bending your body to make your jump or doing a squat, make sure that the knee is going over second and third toe. Observe how my arches stay up, my shin stays relatively vertical, and I'm bending at the hips, and my knees aren't going over my second or third toe. Next, we focus on the hips, the spine, and the head. Positioning should be the same as in a bear crawl and also the side plank. Note, during the side plank, we're working on the hip hinge pattern, which is the same pattern we use when we're standing upright and initiating the jump for our plyometrics. You can put a stick behind your head to ensure a long, tall spine and that the back doesn't round. Do not initiate the movement at the knee joint and look like a melting candle. This will lead to injury and inefficiency in your jumping patterns. Instead, really hip hinge, initiate the movement from the hips, and explode up using the glutes. Now that you know how to put your body in the proper position, let's begin the plyometrics. Have the same position as the bear crawls. You don't want to get a flexed or an extended position. Find that neutral ground that you had for your bear crawl. Centrate the shoulders, drive your hips back, put the weight on the hands, and pop your body up. Really focus in on landing softly and keeping the shoulders centrated. If you have pain in any part of your body while you're doing this, stop, or you can find an appropriate height to do your hip hops, say on a counter or on a higher box. And as your conditioning increases or your pain decreases, you can decrease the height of the box. In this drill, do 2 quick hops and land softly. Avoid going on the tippy toes. You want to jump so that you could almost stick a little tiny credit card underneath your heels. Keep your shins as vertical as you can. Don't let them drive forward over your toes. That'll create knee problems. Drive the butt back and that'll keep the shins vertical. Another thing you want to be aware of are your knees, making sure they're tracking over second and third toe. Don't let them buckle in. And lastly, you want to be aware of your spine. Don't let your chest cave in or your neck extend. Keep a straight line going from your ears to your hips. Your body position should be in the same as the other drills. Explode off the wall, keeping your spine long and tall. Avoid decentrating the shoulders and extending the neck. Here's what it would look like if you're doing it improperly. You want to try to avoid going into the opposite, into a turtle position with your neck in the opposite direction. Avoid letting your hips drop or piking your body. This is what it would look like if you're doing it improperly. Instead, get tall and long and tight through your core and explode out, not letting your shoulder blades come together. Once you've mastered the wall push-up, you can progress to the incline plyo push-up. The same principles apply. Shoulders need to be in the right place. Head needs to be in the right place. Find neutral spine and lock the pelvis to the rib cage and explode off. You can put weight through the hips so that the shoulders don't get too beat up, but really work on keeping the body rigid and exploding through. Get in a nice wide stance with your feet and knees in alignment. Your pelvis and your rib cage are locked together. To help you see the movement more clearly, here's a pelvis model where there's the back and here is the front. Initiate the movement by hip hinging and loading up the left hip by rotating the pelvis over the femur. All the joints from my ankle all the way up to my head are in alignment. Then I shift weight and explode out, rotating my body around my right femur. Do not let the weight roll to the outside of the right foot and have the pelvis and the rib cage locked together. You load the left and explode out to the right. And here is a different angle. And you can see I'm purely moving from the hip joint, not the spine. In contrast, you can see how I'm just moving my spine and my hips are locked down and it's all at my back. This is when it's moving at the spine, and this is moving when it's from the hip joint. If you move from the spine like this, your disc will get messed up and you'll get back pain versus hips using more power, hips, and this is spine and it destroys your discs. Now that you know how to move properly, go ahead and have some fun. Load and explode, and use those hips, not your spine. Here would be an example of you using your spine. Your chest drops, and you're using your back. Instead, drop the hips, lock the pelvis and rib cage together, and explode through the hips. A cue is to keep a big butt and a big chest. If you don't have a wall to throw a medicine ball against, you could do sports core twist. The same rules apply while doing this exercise.